And I think that's way more now because we're being pushed content we never asked for. Whereas like back in the day, you had to turn on HBO to watch the HBO show.
Yep.
Now you're just on your phone, you swipe up another TikTok, and then you're talking shit to some employee with no context. They're like, who the fuck is this guy calling all the fat people to go to the fat pen, right? So I understand that like knee-jerk reaction a little bit more from people because they're not opting in as much. That being said, like when you see an article written about like the Fallon situation, for me, that's what we were talking about earlier. It's just like, okay, I can get clicks from famous person being toxic at work. Let me describe it, and nobody will read the fucking article.
Yep.
They'll read one paragraph. Because once we described what it was on here, and granted, we're older, but there wasn't a single one of us that was like, this is inappropriate.
Dude, and I try to read headlines, and I remember, I try to read articles, not just headlines. And I remember on that one, I was like, oh, fuck, I just read the headline.
Yeah.
I did a disservice to Jimmy.
All right, guys, let's take a break for a second. It's time to learn a second language, okay? It's time to put the time in to learn a second language. If you only speak English, learn some Spanish, learn some French, learn some Arabic, learn some Mandarin. Shit, the way things are going, that might help you. My point is that Babbel has got your back. It is the best way to learn a language. And I promise you, well, the number one best way is through immersion. Okay, that is the number one way. But if you cannot afford to just go live in another country for a year, then what you gotta do is use Babbel. With Babbel, you can start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. Think about that right now, okay? It works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor or fooling yourself with these language apps that are a little more than games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Babbel is for real conversations. All Babbel's tools are approachable, rooted in real-life situations, and delivered with conversation-based teaching.
I could use it too, because I can speak Hindi, but my accent is very white. I hate to admit it. That hurts me to say, but it's white. This could maybe help me. So I gotta give it a shot.
All right, well, here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/flagrant, okay? Get 55% off at babbel.com/flagrant. That is BABBEL.com/flagrant. Rules and restrictions may apply. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, guys, we're gonna take a break real quick because we need to get you THC and CBD to your door. We're talking about award-winning products. You know what works for you, and Diet Smoke guarantees they have it. And if you need help, which is important when you're doing stuff like this, their staff is available 24/7 to answer any questions you have to get the perfect gummy vape drink. And if it's not exactly what you're looking for, they will take care of your order with a 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. You have nothing to lose. So hit up dietsmoke.com, and if you use the code FLAGRANT at checkout, you get 15% off your entire order. And since we go way back with Diet Smoke, they're going to show Flagrant listeners even more love. They're going to throw in free gifts with every order. So you're going to get 15% off the entire thing. You're going to get a free vape. You're going to get a free pack of their strongest gummies, and the coupon applies to everyone, no matter how many times you bought from them before. This is not just a first-time customers only thing. This is for everyone. If you go to dietsmoke.com and use the code FLAGRANT at checkout. Again, that is diet, D-I-E-T, smoke, S-M-O-K-E.com. Use the code FLAGRANT at checkout. Must be 21 to purchase. Please use responsibly. Now let's get back to the show.
What did you think about, have you been following the Russell Brand thing at all?
I have. It's an interesting one for me because of my past.
Of course.
The Business Insider, whenever something like this happens,
you have to be skeptical,
people rush me, support him, do this, do that. It's like, I don't know what the fuck he did. Like, how does anyone know? And I'm sure people say that about me. The only thing I know is what I fucking did, which was nothing. But like, last thing I want to do is rush to the forefront of a guy, and then 2 weeks later, there's fucking all this evidence, and it's just like, whoa. So, you know,
you don't have to jump and say he's innocent just because of what you went through.
You gotta let the facts come out.
Yes, but you also don't have to jump and say he's guilty.
Right. Yeah, I've said right. You gotta let it play out.
But it's wild seeing what's happening. And you know what's interesting is like I've seen a lot of stuff from the British comedy scene kind of come out, and they have not been very supportive.
Yeah, so you never know. And I can only look at, like, when my Business Insider stuff came out, within 24 hours, I had, and it's still up, what I would maintain is a mountain of evidence that totally dispelled the article, improved everything I said was right. It's all up there, text messages, everything.
Yeah.
People should have that. I feel like,
let's go.
Yeah, like, all right, you want to do it? And that's what I scream, like, here it is. Like, I have text messages with, like, a girl for like 5 years after the fact of her being like, let's hang out, let's do. So they don't. Only I publish that. So you want to see the evidence, but you have to let it play out. You can't. So when I see Russell Brand, I have no idea. It's like, hopefully, I always find it crazy. People will fucking root for him to be guilty. And it's like,
why would you want these girls to have gone through that?
Yes, right.
What you don't want, the number one goal here is the girls didn't go through it.
100%.
So that's what you should be rooting for. But it seems like either there's...
I know with me, it felt like the people who didn't like me were rooting for the accusations to be true.
They would rather a girl get assaulted just so you go down.
Yes, it's crazy. It's nuts.
They're lying, and then girls weren't assaulted. That's... You want to talk about toxic or twisted shit? That is a wild mentality. You were willing to sacrifice 4 women